Hello guys, how are you today? And welcome to my review of the 2017 Monaco Grand Prix. Yes, the Monaco Grand Prix has happened. Most exciting race on the calendar, most glamorous race on the calendar. And now let's do a review. So, this race was characterised by lots of close tactics and clever tactics, but not particularly good racing. But I think we sort of expected that for this year's Monaco Grand Prix. So, the race was controversially won by Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel, who led home a Ferrari 1-2, with Kimi Raikkonen coming second after his superb pole position in qualifying on Saturday. Third place in the Red Bull, great result for Daniel Ricciardo. Valtteri Bottas was the leading Mercedes in fourth place, with Lewis Hamilton in seventh after poor qualifying, where he only qualified in 14th. Max Verstappen had a difficult race, coming fifth. Carlos Sainz had a superb race in sixth. Grosjean, Massa and Magnussen closed off the top 10. Palmer was in 11th after another tricky weekend. Then there were the two Force Indias, ending their run of constant top 10 finishes. And then people who retired, including Lance Stroll, Danny Kvyat, Stoffel Van Dorn, Marcus Ericsson, Jenson Button on his return, Pascal Wehrlein after a big crash, and Nico Hülkenberg. So let's go over the story of the race. So as I said, Kimi Raikkonen started on pole position for this race, and the top guys basically got off in grid order, and it led to, and basically it was not much overtaking, nothing happened for the first 30 laps or something. But then when Kimi Raikkonen pitted, he came out into traffic, and then Vettel was able to put his foot down, and after the pit stop he was able to get out ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. And yes, there's a lot of discussion about team orders. Are Ferrari going to be favouring Sebastian Vettel this season? Who knows? It looks like it. Because why would they pit Raikkonen to put him into traffic when it's really hard to overtake around the streets of Monte Carlo? While Vettel was in clean air, and they pitted him just before he reached some traffic. So it was quite controversial. But ultimately Vettel was able to put in the times. I think Vettel was a deserving winner. He put in a good time, was very consistent. But I feel for Kimi a bit, and I think we would have loved Kimi Raikkonen to win a race, especially Monaco, and maybe make the title battle a four-way thing rather than a three-way thing, even if we don't know if Bottas is fully in it or not. So yes, there's a lot of controversy about this. Lewis Hamilton was commenting on it after the race, saying how Ferrari were favouring Sebastian Vettel, but then again I think Mercedes are favouring him, so he can't really complain. Third place was Daniel Ricciardo. He sort of shadowed Sebastian Vettel's strategy a bit, going on a longer first stint, getting some clean air. He put in some really good times actually. He was setting some fast laps, and he was able to jump both Bottas and Verstappen, because of course Bottas started in third, but somehow Ricciardo jumped both Bottas and Verstappen. So a very good day for Daniel Ricciardo, maybe helping him get over what happened last year at the Monaco Grand Prix, where he basically forgot his tyres at the pit stop. So yes, there was Bottas and Verstappen in fourth and fifth. Not much happened there. Verstappen was quite upset about his strategy, and Bottas wasn't really able to challenge the Ferraris this weekend. Carlos Sainz did very well to come sixth, actually. He held off Lewis Hamilton for a long time, and in general the Toro Rossos had quite a bit of pace this weekend. I was pretty impressed with them this week. They were fast in practice, particularly in second practice, also good in first practice, and ultimately he was able to beat Hamilton, and he kept Hamilton behind. You would have thought Hamilton would be able to overtake the Toro Rosso, but maybe not. And now let's talk about Hamilton, because he's probably one of the main things to talk about this weekend. So even though he came first in the first practice session on Thursday, he actually struggled in qualifying, only qualifying 14th, and then started 13th, because Jenson Button had an engine penalty. And he struggled to get banker laps in Q2, and then another one of his laps got stopped because Van Dorn crashed. But I don't think his performance was good enough. I'm sure the car was partly to blame, because you would have thought Bottas would have got pole, had it been the best car, but surely he could have at least come, the minimum we would expect from Hamilton at the moment, to come fourth behind Bottas and the two Ferraris. But no, he was done 14th from 13th. It's it was disgusting, to be honest. I was quite pissed off about that, to be honest. It was really confusing as well. He did make up for it in the race. The team had a good strategy. Again, shadowing what Vettel and Ricciardo did, going on the longer stint, which meant he was able to jump people like Grosjean, Massa and Magnussen to get into P7. And based on qualifying, he'll be pretty happy with his race. But he'll be hoping in Canada to make up some ground, because he's now 25 points behind Sebastian Vettel in the Drivers' Championship. That's a whole race win. 25 points. And it looks like Mercedes might be the underdogs this season. They're going to have to try on some of these tracks like Russia and Monaco. And I think Canada and Baku might be a little bit a similar story. With some slower corners, they're going to have to up their game. If Mercedes want the Constructors and Hamilton wants his Drivers' Championship, they'll at least have to limit their losses in these Grand Prix. And they'll have to do something quick. And then, okay, 8th place was Romain Grosjean. Strong weekend for him. The only mistake I saw from him was the split in qualifying, but okay, he was okay in the end. Felipe Massa did well, in my opinion, to come 9th, considering he started 14th. Yes, okay, I guess he benefited from a few cars ahead of him retiring. But again, Williams seemed to struggle in Monaco, and even with these new rules, it's a similar story, sadly, for them. And Magnussen rounded out the top 10, finishing in 10th in the Haas. So double points finish for a Haas team. That's pretty impressive. Jolyon Palmer had another difficult weekend. There's lots of rumours going around the paddock and on the internet saying that he might get fired in the next few days or weeks. He needs to get points soon if he's going to get anywhere. He's not very consistent, particularly in qualifying. He's been poor, to be honest. I think only once getting out of Q1. Okay, yes, he did get into Q3 that time. But yes, he's only once got out of Q1 this whole season. And in Monaco, in qualifying, he made some pretty rookie type of mistakes. The settings of the car and everything like that. So it wasn't any good. Then after him, we had the 2 Force Indias. Their worst race of the season by far. Sergio Perez was in the points with a few laps to go, but he went for a very opportunistic move on Danny Kvyat, and that led to a crash, which led to Kvyat retiring and Perez having to pit again, which meant he only came 13th. Now, as for the guys who retired from this Grand Prix, of course, Lance Stroll, he was doing okay, but I think it was a mechanical issue, so he did well not to crash during the race. He did crash in practice, I believe, but he did well during the race not to crash, so I was slightly more impressed by him. Of course, as I said, Kvyat had to retire towards the end of the race, but again, that wasn't really his fault. The crash was because of Sergio Perez. And then Van Dorn had a crash at turn 1, going around the outside of someone, and Marcus Ericsson was trying to overtake the safety car, because as you know, the lap cars can overtake before the safety car comes in. He was overtaking the safety car around turn 1, and he crashed. What a rookie error to make. Then Jenson Button on his return. Overall, I was quite impressed with Jenson Button. He qualified in 9th in the McLaren Honda. Yes, he had a penalty which meant he started last, but he got into Q3 in that McLaren Honda. That's pretty impressive. You know, it's a brand new type of car, and he was quite good in terms of pace. Then he had a difficult race, you know, from the back of the grid, and he had a crash with Pascal Wehrlein, which led to Pascal Wehrlein's car being on its side with his head resting against the barrier. Thankfully for Pascal Wehrlein, he is okay. And I was surprised that Jenson Button made such a crazy move in the corner just before the tunnel. That's pretty scary, to be honest. And it's sort of sad that probably would be his final ever race in Formula 1 has ended in this way. And then Nico Hülkenberg was the other guy to retire. Engine failure towards the start of the race. Nothing too special there, if we're going to be honest about it. So yeah, that was the Monaco Grand Prix. It wasn't the best race, but there's a lot of strategy. Maybe the idea of undercutting someone here didn't work so much. It was more about the overcut. The overcut dominated this weekend. It was a difficult weekend for the Force India team and Lewis Hamilton. Red Bull was slightly better in terms of pace, but I think the main thing we learnt from this Grand Prix was that Ferrari are maybe now the team to beat in Formula 1. So the question I want you guys to answer in the comments is, Do you think Mercedes can put up some type of fight back over the next few races and win any of these championships, or do you think it's now going to be a foregone conclusion that Sebastian Vettel is going to win the driver's title in 2017? Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you really enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this and other types of videos, please subscribe to my channel. If you have anything to say in the comments, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Also, go and check out the video that should be on screen right now, and come and follow me on Twitter, BigGaming342, and Facebook, BigGaming342, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.